Rotorstorm331, back to doing some more streaming. This time we're going to be streaming for Boss Battle Childhood Hunger, formerly known as Feed the Kids Marathon. Well, technically it's the same thing, but still. Anyway, hope everyone's having a good Sunday morning. For the next 3 games, you'll be seeing me do 3 different runs on 3 different genres. We'll start with my usual beat-em-ups. Then we'll be doing the platformer Joe and Mac for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. And of course, we'll close that out with Killer Instinct with TJ Combo 80%. So we're going to be kicking this off with Rival Turf, aka Russian Beats, as it's known in Japan. Of course, they did a lot of redesigning and localization for this game when it's brought to the West. So we're going to be playing this on No Angry mode with Uzi Nelson, who's probably better known as Douglas Build in the Russian Beat series. A new game for this series is going to be coming out at some future date. We don't know when, but the return of the Brawl Brothers is definitely imminent, obviously. So anyway, it's probably a better time to celebrate the return of that series with a run for this. Time's going to start once I select my character. And let me... No audio. What? Okay, how's that now? Okay, I turned up the mic just a bit, so if it sounds like it's whispering, it should probably do. Let me see what the guys over at RGLtv have to say. Okay, does everyone hear me clearly? Okay. Weird. Do I have to turn on my mic at full max? I'd rather not. That is just very, very weird. Okay. Well, we'll just have to leave it at that. My apologies ahead of time. I thought I got it set correctly. But anyway, we're going to get started. Let me check my timer real quick. Yep, good thing I did check it because that would have been bad. Alright, now we can get started. Alright, guys, wish me luck. 3, 2, 1, go! So, Rival Turf is part of the Russian Beat series, as it's known in Japan. And we're going to be using Nelson for the most part. He's actually the powerful of the two. Unfortunately, Flak is like virtually unworkable in most settings due to his chain attacks being not very reliable, among other things. So we're going to be using Nelson's raw power. He also has a lot of perks in this game that gives him a lot of advantage. Like being able to low blow enemies or do something like that. You don't get to see a whole lot of grouping in this game, unfortunately. This game doesn't really give you a whole lot of options for grouping unless they decide to run right into you and whatnot. Enemies in this game also are pretty finicky. They love to play cowardly attacks or decide to come right at you. One of the downsides about using Nelson, though, is that if you do a power bomb, enemies are like invincible for a few seconds before you can attack them again. So anyway, we just got through the first part. Now we're on the bus. This is actually one of the rare times you get to see a beat-em-up take place in a bus. Final Fight 3, which takes place years after this game was released, actually has an optional boss, fighting on a bus, actually. So anyway, we're going to do our best to wipe out all these enemies. We got our last 2, which is the Skinny and Case right here. Of course, their names are way loads different in the Japanese version. So if they start coming at you, they'll run towards you. One of the good things about this game is that it gives you like a dash button, pretty much. We won't be using throwable weapons for the most part because unfortunately they're not very accurate with Nelson. But they are somewhat accurate when you're using as Flak, though. Believe it or not, Flak actually gets a lot more better in the other 2 games. Just not very good with, not very good on the first one. So we're going to use a lot of chain resetting too, as well as the grapple move, which I'm doing right here to set up quick finishes. One interesting thing about using the Frankensteiner/Hurricanrana is that your enemies usually get put up on an upper plane above you once you throw them. So normally if you were on the plane beforehand, they would be on the upper parts. Now we do have to mash the attack button because that keeps the enemy from going for chains. Now the first boss is Genie. He's actually probably the easiest boss in the entire game. That is until he gets his dang sword. Normally, this wouldn't be happening on a normal pace, but sometimes it happens, you know. Anyway, we got through stage 1. Well, if you thought Nelson does so much damage in this game, you should probably check out Brawl Brothers. He's pretty much very good in that game as well. Which is kind of sad, because that's his last entry in the trilogy, pretty much. He does make a cameo appearance in Peacekeeper/Shura, but he's not playable, unlike Norton is. Now, we do have to watch out for Skinnies and Reggies. A large amount of the enemies in this game will appear on this stage. Ooh, we got a double finish. That's good. Yeah, this game's got some pretty interesting bugs in general. Alright, that takes care of all the enemies. Now we got those in Arnold's. Those are the strong guy types. They do a lot of damage if you're not careful, especially if their chest slap hits you. It hits pretty hard. If they go for mobile time, so it's not nearly as painful, but their snap suplex is something to watch out for. But yeah, this is actually my second speed run after Final Fight 2, actually. Before that, Ista was probably the only known person to have done speedrunning on this game. And then I started working, doing this, and became one of my personal projects. And then Josh the Funk Doc, who's a legend in the speedrunning community, he found a lot of interesting tech that I didn't even know existed, and we actually traded world records at one point. In fact, at one time he actually held all 3 world records for all 3 of the Russian Beat games. I did take back my Brawl Brothers and Rival Turf runs. As far as I know, he still has the world record for Peacekeeper Shura. Well, you probably won't find it on the speedruns.com though, But yeah, it is possible to break out throws, but sometimes they get their way, unfortunately. So now that we got out of the locker room area, now we're going straight into the garage of the stadium. In terms of the game setting, this actually takes place in the future in California, also known as Neo Frisco, which is a play on San Francisco. I do want to be a little bit careful because these enemies can pull some cheap stuff if I'm not careful. Sometimes this game is very throw heavy, as you can probably see. And you can also cancel your chains like this, so you can reset the chain heads again. So coming up, we got Kato and some minor enemies coming in. I mean, I should say Goro. You know, sometimes when you make mistakes like that, it's best to give yourself a raspberry. Alright, so once we get through these guys, we'll be moving forward. But unfortunately, fighting these Katos and Goros are pretty nasty. They're probably one of the more dangerous enemies to fight aside from the Skinnies and Reggies. I find them to be a lot more threatening than most of the enemies in the entire game, even though the strong guys hit pretty hard. The ninja enemies are actually a tribute to Ultimate Warrior's independent wrestling name, the Dingo Warrior. I think someone from Jellico USA or was a big fan of the Dingo Warrior and probably decided to rename the ninjas after his name. Alright, so coming up we got Sledge. He's not coming out, so we're gonna let him get hit by his own car. As you can see right here. And we'll wipe out all of his henchmen. And then we're gonna set this up now. Now sometimes he will break out of it. We're gonna keep him pretty much closed. And the hitbox of that attack is pretty weird. As long as you're not right in the range of that attack, you're pretty much safe. But yeah, Sledge is actually the more easier boss fight, actually. Now we're on to stage 3. This is when difficulty of the game starts picking up, actually. I don't know why a rat's there. But it's just there. Now we do need to burn some of that special because we do need a score of 30 by the time we go into 4-2 on the next stage. Alright. Okay, we did see a Skitty just appear. Now, one interesting thing about this game is that you can literally make yourself temporarily invincible with your run attacks. And you can actually avoid getting hit through this method. Alright, there we go. And it's not the way I would normally do that, but oh well. We got a Skitty coming up, though. Yeah, see right there, the knife will only hit if I throw it at an upper plane rather than, ooh, you got me pretty bad there. Yeah, the dynamite actually has, any explosive weapon actually has pretty huge hitboxes. So you do have to be careful when dealing with those kind of weapons. Alright, despite that, we managed to get through. So this is Louis. He's pretty much our second to last person that we get to fight. Well, there's our first death of the game, unfortunately. Ugh. I hate when they go for those old drops. You think you're out of the range, and you get hit, still get hit by them. Alright, so there's Gigani. He's our last, he's the last normal enemy we get to have appear. And he'll start appearing in the lineup now. Okay, enough ganging up on me. Come on, you two. Man, I'm getting kicked all over the place. Alright, we're gonna park our character right here. And this next screen, we don't really get to do anything. I mean, we get to move around. Now, you can back jump in this game, but it's kind of tricky. Or I should say a reverse jump. Alright, so this is the final part of stage 3. Okay, I've never seen those guys do a reverse elbow drop. Let's clear him. Of course, those aren't the last of the enemies, of course. We'll be dealing with 3 more after this. Yeah, you don't want to be getting too aggressive, because you can get easily punished in this game for getting sometimes aggressive. And you don't want to be doing that with the martial artist, unfortunately. These guys love to hit you with that. We got Slasher, he's pretty annoying. He gets a large amount of backup here. So my main goal is to try to set him up to get him to do his only one airborne attack, and right now he's just being a jerk. Okay, enough of that. Good grief, this slasher fight is ridiculous. Alright, good. So once he goes into this phase, he'll start doing kicks rather than his axle throws. I'm going to play it a little bit safe because I don't want to lose any more lives. Alright, that was not a very fun slasher fight. Especially with all those enemies ganging up on you, too. We managed to get through, so we're on our way to Stage 4. This is the only time in the game where any of the enemies get to wear different colors. Some of them get to keep it permanently for the rest of the game, actually. But other than that, everyone just pretty much remains, goes back to their normal colors after this. And by the way, the BGM for this stage is rocking. Probably the best BGM in the entire game, I actually should say. In my opinion. Alright, we do need to burn some special eventually. So I'm gonna start cutting that down eventually. Okay, bullet, stop doing that. Yeah, it's pretty hard to fight the martial artists sometimes. Alright, we got these last enemies coming up. Alright, that's perfect, because the next special we do, that'll put us in range for 30, and for the most part. Yeah, Nelson doesn't really have a huge attack range with his normals, but they can be surprisingly deceptive. Alright, moving forward with this area right here. Okay, Bullet, please cooperate. Alright, there we go. We have to have a score of 30. There are actually warp zones in this game. 2 of them were taken out before this game was completed. And believe it or not, one of them was in Stage 1. And there's also, the last one's over at the final stage of the game. So I'm going to try to do a running jump attack. Oh, there we go. This rarely happens, but when it does, it puts you right in this position. But usually, most of the time, it'll put you in the starting position of the stage like normal. Now, I had to avoid using the special attack up until a certain point in 5-2, and that's because we need a score of 66 to trigger the next warp. So in other words, I can't use the special as much as I want to. Ow. That Kato decided to hit me from behind. Alright, now we got one. Now the boss battles are going to get very difficult. Slasher was pretty much the opening act, but Captain pretty much raises the bar from here on out, and you can actually attack him when he walks towards you, but when he goes for the running boot, though, he will use running boot. And fighting him up close is pretty dangerous as well, because he can do this. And of course, this fight is not very easy to do with the bullet hanging around. So we're going to play safe mode right now, and just throw him whenever we get a chance. Because we do not want Bullet going down, because if he goes down, he'll whistle for another one, and that wastes time. And I have to be very careful on timing my running attacks, because he can literally just kick me right in the middle of a run attack attempt. Yeah, normally this would require me doing a chain grapple strike then throw most of the time, but unfortunately that bullet was being a little bit of a scumbag, pretty much. Alright, so we're on the pre-ultimate stage right now, which is Darkyard Brawl. Fitting name for a stage like this. Go ahead. this is where things will start picking up. Just about the entirety of Jokow, the main antagonist group of this game, starts coming out to play. And they'll be out in full force, pretty much. Alright, now we just gotta get rid of this bullet. Now, we do need to get rid of this item box here, because that will generate lag, and unfortunately, that lag is coming in because of the grenade that came out of that container. Alright, that takes care of Kato, so we don't have to deal with him now. But now we gotta deal with all the strong guys here now. And those guys can hit like a ton of bricks if they get their option. Alright, now that lag's gonna be gone now that one of them went down. Alright, we're just gonna charge right on ahead to the end. Ow, he kicked me before I can do a run attack on him. Yeah, I'm not gonna pick him up because he's already down. Yeah, believe it or not, you're actually invincible during jump attacks. So if you perform a jump attack, you're pretty much safe. That is until you hit the ground. Luckily, the ninja didn't do a standing spin kick where he's stational and performs that move actually. So we managed to avoid using the special attack up until now, so we're going to use it right here. And then we're going to pretty much avoid using it up until we get to the warp zone point. Alright, there we go. Through that just as good. We do have a wrench. We're not going to pick that up, of course. Bludgeoning weapons like that aren't really that useful. It's kind of weird that we don't get those kind of weapons up to this point of the game. Okay, Arnold, stop playing around with me. Alright, we got through him. Now we hold up and while jumping near the stairs and we trigger our second warp zone. Whenever we go into warp zones, our health is automatically refilled. So that actually puts us back on good graces for now. Now, unfortunately, we don't get to trigger any additional warps here. So it doesn't matter what I do before the screen transitions. So, because that always puts us right there. For some odd reason, I don't know why that happens sometimes with the stage 4 warp, but it just happens sometimes whenever I do a running jump as the screen closes out. Alright, so from here on out, we get to use our special whenever we want. So there's Iceman, who's our boss for this area. And this is the only time in the game where we actually get to see any normal enemy with an orange life bar. That's usually reserved for bosses most of the time. The Louis here do get an orange life bar. Luckily, they're not very durable, so they go down pretty quickly. Alright, let's just hope... Okay. Oh, thankfully he didn't do it off screen. Yeah, I'm not gonna mess around with these ninjas. Just throw them just to be safe, because I'm a little bit terrified about trying to go up to them and try to do normal attacks, and they decide to go for spin kicks. Alright, we're gonna take this extra health regardless. No points added, unfortunately. Then we get a Mirage, get some skinnies, and then we get Butch and Louis up to bat. Yeah, this is the other Louis that gets an orange life bar. This is the only time in the game that they actually do that. Alright, so we only got 3 skinnies left to deal with, and these guys have a little bit more higher health to the point that you can't really defeat them in one throw. Alright, so now we got Iceman. Josh the Funk Doc did discover some strats dealing with him, but this is my go-to strat. Unfortunately, he's too close to the end of the screen. So if he goes for this, I just go to a different plane and then retaliate. But if he runs, you can definitely attack him during that phase. And we send Iceman out of the screen because we can. Alright, that was a perfect Iceman fight. Well, sort of. Alright, now we got a boss coming up with Stage 6. We made it to Joe Kyle's base, and whatever's left of their minions is going to be coming out to play. Of course, this stage does have a boss rush for each of the areas we go into. And like I said earlier, this stage does have a warp that was intended, but it was removed. If that warp existed, we would have skipped having to deal with Slasher 2, because the second bout of Slasher is probably the most difficult boss fight aside from the rematch with Iceman. So we got a rematch with Genie coming up. Let's see if we can avoid getting hit this time. We didn't get enough to beat him, but at least we didn't get attacked by his minions. So we got through that area pretty good. So this second part is where we have to make our way all the way to Slasher now. Yeah, I hate when the enemies decide to run away from you. Like I said before, I had to play this a little bit safe with dealing with the ninjas. We got some more. Luckily, this is the last time we have to see Dingo. But this is we haven't seen the last of Warriors. We haven't seen Warriors in quite a long while. Time for the Frankensteiner Carnival Fest. Ow! Got hit by the spin kick. How dare you? Alright, there we go. Ooh, I actually grabbed one of those guys for a change. Alright, I'll take care of that Gigani. Alright, come on, Skinny. I'm not gonna come to you. Alright, so we got past him. Now we gotta deal with the last batch of enemies for this part. Ooh, we got a rare grouping. That never happens in this game. Only on a full blue moon once in a while. Yeah, believe it or not, the third kick doesn't deal any damage, but the second and first do. So we're gonna try our best to get the same strat with this guy again. Ow, spin kicked me again. Now we do have to defeat all the enemies in this fight, because even if we do defeat Slasher, you cannot unfortunately move on until all the enemies are gone. unfortunately, we cannot do that while they're up and about. Yeah, let's get rid of slashers so we don't have to put up with them. Okay, that was not supposed to happen. Shame on you, Kato. Alright, so we got past that part. Luckily, we got a full recovery health item coming up. We'll save that in case we do need it. Yeah, these martial artists are pretty good at dodging attacks, unfortunately. Now, the running attack does have some pretty weird hitbox ranges, though, sometimes. Alright, so we got through that somehow. But now we're coming up against Iceman. He has to be played a little bit more differently than our first runabout with him, unfortunately. Unfortunately, he broke out of my chain, unfortunately. So this is the other method in case he does break out of... in case he goes for those spin kicks. Unfortunately, I'm not doing very well on my normal setup. Now, right now we need to keep him on the right because he'll advance after he's defeated. And he grabbed me, darn it. Darn it, he grabbed me again, darn it. Okay, I need to stop attacking him head on. Oh boy. Not exactly the best fight I've had in a while. And he grabs me again. Well, unfortunately, we got the walk of shame now because he was on the left-hand side and not on the right. Oh well, can't win them all, I guess. As they say, anything bad can happen will happen. Alright, come on, Reggie, get out of there. Alright, so we got one life left, so even if we continue on the fight overall with Big Al, it's not like it's the end of the world. We did accomplish very well on getting very far in this game. Come on! Good grief, that Reggie didn't want to go down. Alright, we're moving on. Alright, Big Al is our final boss. He's not much of a threat, actually, but he could be pretty daunting, though. Wow, I've never seen him break out of that. Okay, wait for it. He's invincible for a bit. So yeah, if he goes into angry mode, you want to get him to burn out on it for the most part. Let him do his Falcon Dive punches, then wait for him to go back to this. Yikes, he managed to break out of my chain. Usually when you mash fast, you're supposed to not get your chain attacks broken, but he managed to do it just here. I think I'll play it safe from now on. Well, it's not the end of the world. I didn't really expect to get 1 CC. It's very hard to get 1 CC on this game as it is. Whew, almost got grabbed. Alright, his anger mode's now officially over. Come on, Big Al, stop throwing those projectiles. He's back in angry mode again. Hopefully for the last time. Now, sometimes Butch will interfere with your fight with Big Al, and when he does that, that gets pretty annoying. Because you gotta either deal with him or deal with Big Al himself. reset. Thank goodness. Alright, time's gonna be when clear appears. That's it. Time. 32:35. Not bad. My current world record is pretty much 29:59. So it's very far from our world record, but hey, it's still a good run. We almost got 1 CC on this game. It's not very easy to do, I might add. Because you got all these enemies that get to do whatever the heck they want when they decide they want to do it. Ah, thank you for the GG. Whew. Well, that's the first of the 3 runs I'll be doing out of the way. Coming up next, we got Joe and Mac, easy any %. And let's just hope we get our wheel pretty early, because if not, it's going to be a very, very long run. So I'm gonna go ahead and take it on, leave it on over to RGLtv, and then we'll switch on over to Joe and Mac. So I'll see you then.